This is On FM on 101.4.
Thing I noticed once I started performing on the open mic circuit, I could kind of distinguish between people who had done courses and people who hadn't. Yeah.
So were they just a bit tighter?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the people who hadn't done courses sort of didn't kind of get into the sort of thing of, well, if I tell a long story, people are just going to drop off, and you could sort of see that they're kind of building up a lot to like one punchline. Yeah. Whereas with the course, it's very much showing you how to like interweave punchlines into punchlines and like. Because
it's really hard. I mean, I do a bit of writing. Like I try and write like sitcoms and things like that. And I read a lot of things on the internet about how to write and things like that. But the best way is obviously getting feedback on things you have written. But I read in like Will and Grace, they have 30, I think, about 20 jokes every like 5 minutes of show. So if you look at that script, you're turning pages and it is constantly funny, and that to write a sitcom that is, like you say with doing stand-up, you think, I can build up to a joke and then everyone will kind of be with me. But actually you've got to constantly entertain people to stop them from turning over and just think, actually, it's not that good.
That's true.
So it's really hard. Absolutely. So you have recently come back from Chicago.
I have.
What were you doing there?
That was ill. That was a lovely trip, I have to say. Actually, initially, I was going to actually do the Chicago Marathon.
Really?
Yeah, I was, yeah.
My God, all the way to Chicago. You didn't think of doing the London one first, and you're like, I'll do this.
Well, I have to say, like, with, because I've done a couple of marathons before.
I'm very impressed.
Thank you.
I can't run at all.
Thank you. Well, the thing is, like, with the Chicago Marathon, it was basically you pay, you're in.
Really?
Yeah.
And do you I could do it.
Yeah. Let's go over, Lola.
Nothing's stopping me now.
So, is that why you went over there? You were like, right, I'm going to go and do the marathon.
Yeah, and also because Chicago is such a big city for comedy.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I mean, they have a few venues there. They've got like one quite famous venue, well, many comics will know about it, called the Second City. Right. And it spawns comedy performers like Joan Rivers, Bill Murray.
Amazing.
Yeah. So I thought it would be, really good to sort of. In the end, I couldn't do the marathon for health reasons.
Right.
But I at least got to do a bit of stand up there.
No way.
To see some shows.
Did you do some stand about that venue?
Not a Second City.
Did you go to it?
I did, yeah.
Was it great?
It was fantastic.
Amazing.
It was really good. I mean, it's the sort of place where and it's all kind of like based on improv comedy, and
that is hard. I don't know how. Like, there's a big thing, at the Comedy Store. They have just improv nights, and you just think, I don't know how people. I mean, obviously, there's a lot of people who are really strong with improvisation, but it's to go on stage, to pay a ticket, to go and see people who are doing improv, to me,
I don't enjoy
to
that.
have to be funny and making things up on the spot is just
I don't think it's a very funny formula, actually. I think you've got to be incredible to be, you've got to be very relaxed, you've got to be really, really talented, you've got to already have a backlog of stuff that you're going to use. Because when I've gone and seen improv before, it makes me want to walk out, actually.
Really?
I find it really, really uncomfortable.
There's shows like...
it just feels like they're choking all the time.
Whose Line Is It Anyway? And I don't know if you've seen it, and there used to be an American, he possibly was Canadian, guy on, and he was really tall, and he was always absolutely amazing at improvisation, like always like nail on the head, really funny, like straight away.
He's
but some people have got it.
You've got to have a backlog of material, surely.
No, I don't think so. I think it's just about being able to like open your mind to kind of ideas and stuff, and constantly.
Yeah, I think there's some sort of process behind it, because I think with the Second City they do like these quite intense courses that people go on. I mean, the show I saw, they actually had the first half of the show was like completely prepared and show, and then afterwards they kind of like got suggestions from audience and built on suggestions. But I think there's some sort of technique which you learn.
There's a formula, isn't there, to make it?
I think so, yeah.
So, and you get to pick, if somebody says something really obscure, then you just don't do it, do you?
Yeah. I didn't hear that.
Absolutely.
Well, talk about obscure things. I went to see Phil Jupitus.
Oh, I love him.
I've never seen him live. Was he good?
He was really good. It was part of like the Greenwich Comedy Festival.
Right.
And his show was an improv show. It was, I think it was called Phil Jupitus and Friends show, and yeah, he was basically asking the audience to suggest genres of films, different genres, and I sort of said Nollywood, which is like the Nigerian film industry.
Amazing.
That's really good. But it's like, I don't know if he was kind of like, did it on purpose, because Hollywood, yeah, we've already had Hollywood and Bollywood, and I kind of said again, no, Nollywood, and he kind of like skated over that.
No way.
Maybe he didn't know what it was.
I thought maybe he doesn't know what it was, but then I thought maybe that's kind of an obscure one to
Maybe that's comedy suicide to try for him to try and do that. So what's your style then? What do you what's...
Yeah, I kind of, when I first started out, it was very much about sort of talking about family situations, about sort of my experience as a woman at the time, being 29 and being single, and
oh, you look great for 29.
Yeah, that is ridiculous. I was like 25 at a push.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm 31 now. No, I am.
Marilyn looks
getting
very
work done.
That's it. So yeah, is it quite observational about you, kind of?
Yeah.
Do you find that? I mean, I'm just saying from assumptions that I think people make. Do you think that when you walk on stage and people realise you're a female stand-up, do you find that perhaps men are less interested? I was talking to a guy last week and he said, because I was saying, I want to get into stand-up, and he said, well, as a young, pretty female, you're going to find it very difficult because the women hate you and the men just don't really care what you're saying because they just want to look at you. And I was like, that's really depressing. You're already making me think.
I don't think so. Whenever I go, I think you've got on an advantage because the men will listen to you more.
Do they listen? Do you find that people really engage?
I do find that people engage.
That's good.
Definitely, and I don't know whether it's because I kind of.
Do you just shout really loudly?
I just I put that whole kind of, I'm good looking out of my head. I'm just like, I'm just going to go on, do my material, like, just even pretend it's not even an issue. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And yeah, I do find that people do engage.
That's good, because I think that's kind of.
Some men do feel uncomfortable watching.
Do you think?
Women, if there's the man around a table, I feel uncomfortable watching women comedians sometimes. I do. Sometimes.
Why do you find it uncomfortable?
Because of the kind of logical position that they're part of the minority in comedy, and the more women come through like you, I mean, it's exactly what you need.
Yeah.
It's exactly what comedy needs right now.
Yeah.
People, did you say you were going to do a course?
I'd like to. Oh yeah, I'm going to do a course.
You absolutely should do it.
Yeah.
As solidarity to other comedians, because you feel you have the capacity to be a comedian.
Yeah.
Why not go for that?
Yeah.
I don't
Make it more comfortable for people like me to watch, because the more women we get, and the more Joan Rivers has me in stitches. The funniest person, I have ever come across, and she's female.
I think the thing is as well, I was saying to this guy, do you think that women have to be funnier to be more successful, to kind of prove themselves? But I think, like you say, men don't necessarily just think what I've just said. I think sometimes we can just generalise. Some people just don't care. If you make them laugh, then whatever.
And I think my kind of sense of humour as well is I don't take myself seriously.
Yeah.
I have a very surreal sense of humour, which I kind of, it's at the moment. Because I have a show on Friday which I compare.
Where is that?
Yeah, it's in Finsbury Park, North London.
Right.
It's every Friday. It's completely free.
Brilliant.
Hey, big up.
We do free Friday things. What's the venue called?
It's called the T-Bird.
Brilliant.
I can give an address maybe.
Yeah, you do. And we can add
T-Bird in Finsbury Park.
That's right. Yeah, and it's 132 Blackstock Road.
Brilliant. Know the exact address. So that's perfect. Because I think T-Bird's pretty big. I mean, a lot of people from the comedy bin go on there.
Yeah, it is. I've been really very proud of it. And I think because it is free and because it's a Friday night and people just come and chill out.
Free on a Friday. Well, we do a feature on our Friday show, which is Frugal Friday, because we think actually it's really hard. In the weekend, everyone works the rat race all week in London, and then on a weekend it's 20 quid to get in anywhere or whatever. Yeah. So when you find somewhere free, it's like, actually, you don't mind spending 10 quid on a couple of pints.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Oh, and tea. Sorry to interrupt this. I had to text my mother at 6 o'clock this morning. She's going to be devastated. I haven't heard from her yet, but things are going to get bad, because apparently there's going to be a tea drought next year. The impact of the drought in the Horn of Africa is going to be impacting on tea, apparently. And so tea's going to go really expensive, and
no.
I live on tea. My blood's made out of it.
My parents have just come back from India and they brought no tea back.
I
was like, well done, parents, that's terrible.
This is On FM on 101.4.